Welcome back to Sandling Junction. This is going to be my May update, and I've got to be honest with you, not too much has happened this last month, but join me now and let's see what progress I have made. Welcome back everyone. This is, as I said just now, my May update. And not too much has happened. I've done an awful lot of planning, it's got to be said. A lot of point motors have gone in, so there's pretty much everything here with the exception in the foreground has been put servos to it, and they're all checked and working, and some of the servos into the entrance there have also been done. This shed here, which is going to have two lines going into there, and one down the side and one down this side. They're laying there at the moment. They've not been fixed in. I think it's only been fixed to this part here. So this is probably a job for the weekend, is to set this up and get this one worked out. But coming around through what will be the turntable area and the workings over there, coming out of the fiddle yard, and these are the two main lines. And now this is, I don't know if I said about this before, but this is going to be an interesting little feature here, and we've built this in, or I'm planning on building this in. It's going to be a coal area. Now Ashford many years ago did have such a thing. We found one photograph of it. It's not the complete story, but I think from it we can gain enough information to build the raised area up to where the coal was delivered, and that will sort of go up there just before the sheds for the trains from the turntable. There will be two feeds coming off of the turntable. One on the outer will come round, and that's for the trains that do not need to be refueled. They have sufficient or have got it elsewhere. And then the inner one will feed along and go past the coal area, and it will be fueled from there, and it can then rejoin further around here past this shed and then enter traffic again onto either platforms 5 or 6 in Ashford Station. Now you'll notice here that I've put in quite a few new features. I lifted all the track up at one point. There were problems with it originally. Several people pointed that out to me. But now I've taken that all up. I've left this crossover in, this short cross. But here we've got a double slip and another double slip over here. So traffic can move from one to another platform quite easily. It's not as much as I wanted to do. I actually did want to put all three in line, which would have meant everything could have gone pretty much everywhere, certainly on the down, but it would have meant down to about 2 coaches only on the platforms 5 and 6. So I wasn't prepared to do that, so we compromised, and I staggered the double slips, and I can get, I think, excluding the loco, I can put 4 coaches on, and that's going to be great. So we've got 6 platforms, 6 roads, 2 either side of the main. 2 will feed the down and 2 will feed the up. I'm guessing that because these are going to be smaller platforms, that there will be suburban traffic and 2-3 car units running into there, some small steam setups with maybe 3 birdcage coaches on there, something of that nature, just feeding off and then getting on to Sandling Junction and coming on down through to Hythe and the branch line. So that's that area so far. I'm just going to come up. I'm going to move the camera. I think probably be better to do that. So join me in a minute and we'll carry on. Okay, so here we are back. Now the Ashford Station doesn't in real life traverse the tracks, but in order to make the best of this layout, I felt that I could use a bit of license here and make it happen, because I get the full width of the board, which does need to be quite narrow, because I, as you all know, I paint just over here, and I can't have too far out. One, I can't reach any of the loco stock up there, but also it would have just been too much. So we've got a 2-foot table, that's sufficient at this point, and so we've made the best we can of the lines going through and underneath the station. I think it'll make it more interesting too, which I'm looking forward to that. So moving on, you can see where the platforms 5 and 6 return on the point, and also platforms 1 and 2. The mains, of course, are fed there. We've also got a double slip, in one more double slip just there, and a curve point here. It's probably not the best, but I think it will work. And because Ashford is a market town, I decided that in this corner, for 2 reasons. And the first reason is that I had to push this exit so far down that I've got 4th radius curves coming out. It's a little tight. It'll work, but it's a little tight. So what I wanted to do is put them into a tunnel, and I'm going to build a town scene as far up here as I can, and all the way in this corner and across over the top here, maybe roads, road bridge, all sorts of things in there, just to suggest the market town of Ashford. And then of course we just move on down. I've yet to make the table for this section by the wall, and of course everyone has it at some point, is to decide whether I'm going to put lift out, pull out, drop down. I don't know. I think it's going to be a system where we have this sort of thing going on, because it can lean against one side, and I purposely made it that only 2 tracks need to go across it, so it will therefore minimize my worry about making sure everything hooks up together, and I think that'll be fine. So okay, I'm going to go round to the other end of the fill yard and show you what's been going on there, and then probably just run a few trains, although I can't run them very far, as I'm sure you can see. But yeah, we're going from there. I'll tell you a few more plans that I'm doing, and that'll probably be quite a short update for me, but we'll see. Back in a mo. Okay, so continuing on, there's the 2 sheds at the moment. Now the 3-road shed will be have 2 more 3-road sheds up in the corner. I did contemplate at one point trying to make a roundhouse. Nothing exists other than making one from scratch yourself, which I'm not that good on. The Walthers one, which is fine, I really like it because it's a North Light one, and it would work, and it would make nice area right up in the corner here, out of the way, right up there. But I think because it's HO, it's going to be very, very different. It won't be in scale, and on such a big unit it will be noticeable. But if anybody knows of anything other than the very expensive Bachmann ones, which I've seen, they look nice, but I think to put 4 or 5 rows on, I think I'm looking at £200–300 just to do that, and that's really, for me, it's a little bit too much. So I do have two laser cut sheds, very similar to that 3-row one already there. They are slightly smaller, they're about 4 inches shorter than that one, and they've been purposely built to be long, to house the engines. And I suppose I shouldn't shy away from making those up and having the 3 engine sheds very much similar. And if I don't like them later on, hey, they can always be lifted, taken away and moved on to pastures new. This, on the other hand, the 2-row to the right hand side there, that's just one I weathered, and it's a very cheap Metcalf kit that I actually picked up at a local show for about £1.50, £2 I think. Put lighting in it and had some fun with it, and again it will serve to house the diesels, or some of the diesels, and make use of that area. And I plan on putting some diesel refueling in that area at some point in the future, so that'll work nicely again until I decide I found something much better. So I'm going to move on down the tracks, and everything is working this end. It's all connected up. You can actually see several locos and diesels on track. I do have a bit of fun playing around with these. I can quite simply just go up or down. I can't run a circuit yet because I don't actually have a circuit to run. But for me it's just enjoyable just to set one off and watch it come round. I suppose actually, when you consider that my last layout was 2 meters by 2.4 meters by 1.2, so I've probably got as much track running here, just going from left to right past me and into the station area, as I had on an entire circuit before. So I'm happy with that for the minute. But of course, track work is slow, and it's taken me quite a while to come out of this fiddle yard. I got the other end done, and that was quite traumatic. This end has proven probably a little bit more so actually, because I needed to make sure that all these tracks converged nicely, and the only issue I do have is just here. And to that end I'm going to put some rodding in and put a servo underneath, but I'm going to have rodding that goes along and down between those two lines. A friend of mine will help me construct that. I understand it can be done quite easily. And then all of those 11 lines come all the way through, and we'll finish up as just the 2 mains that come into this part here. And that's where I've got. No more. Nothing on the branch line yet. There's a little question, just a little bit of fun. This is one of my old corner sections from the old No Name Junction, grassed up with a little ditch running through down the hill. I don't know whether to leave that there and use it in this, which it doesn't look out of place, or indeed build up a higher hill and bring it out a bit further and cover in that blank plate electrics. So tell me what you think. So anyway, enough of my ramblings. There's not been too much other work other than point motors, the megapoint system that's been slowly developed and understood. It's a great system. I can't fault it, and I can't equally I can't say that I don't get enough help, because the guy who made this system happen is extremely helpful and more than able to give you his time, and willing to as well. So I have had several points during this last few weeks where I've needed to call him to get me out of a bind, and the bind most likely was of my own making. And yeah, a little 5-minute talk and off I was going, and no more troubles until the next one. But it's a great system, and it's so much cheaper than many other offerings out there, so I can't recommend that enough. But that's where a lot of my time's been going, is the mega points and fitting servos, as well as now trying to fight my way out of this fiddle yard. I really do want to do that. I sort of got bogged down. I kept leaving this area because I didn't know how to deal with it. I have to admit, it was a problem making these curve points all fit. As many times as I tried, it worked, or looked as though it worked, and then it didn't. But now we've got it sorted out, and I'm sort of just making my way out of that area, and the last few ends of the road have just gone in tonight, which I did film. I will edit that down a little bit because it's probably a little too boring just to watch me lay two pieces of track. But there you are. Okay, so I'll do a little bit of running at the end of this, and I'll see you all in my next update. And I hope there'll be something a little more substantial in terms of the track and the progression of the layout. There won't be any scenics going down. Alright, well that's all getting pretty prepped up now. I've got two pieces of track going in, and what I do here is I mark on top where I want the droppers to go, cut the webbing underneath and part the rails just gently, then solder the droppers in, and then I push back the track. And normally, if you get it about right, that there's not too much difference between one piece of track sleeper and the next one. But what I always do is I check that this is all going to go where I want it to before I start gluing the glue. After that, it's a bit too late. Although you can, as I've done, you can lift track up. It's not the end of the world. The glue does come away fairly easily. I want to make sure that it sits as it should do, like so. Not far off, pretty good. Test the other one. I've tried to do the droppers pretty much in line going across the thing. There were a couple of bits that I didn't do that to, but on the whole it's not so bad. Then the pairs of wires can be labelled underneath to work for the correct road. Hopefully we get this one pretty much in place. Now I want to just check it with this too. This has all got to work. This is the little bit that gets a bit tricky. over this one. Smooth that transition out there and we'll be fine. So I think we're good to go. So I'm going to slide those out the way, and that's going to be that one. This is going to be the tricky one. What I've got to try and do, I think, is to be able to take this off like so, and this. Welcome back. Yeah, not too much has happened visually, as I'm sure you've worked out, but a lot of planning, and since making this video more of that plan has been put into practice. But there's also been a bit of track laying and also an awful lot of work going on underneath the tables. Hard to film, so I haven't bothered, but a lot of servos, a lot of wiring. And despite people saying that those servos shouldn't take very long to put out, they take me quite a while. I'm not really good at getting the position about right, so a little bit of playing around. So 10 minutes becomes half hour and sometimes a bit more when it really doesn't work out. Anyway, enough of all that. I hope to give you a lot more content during June. And I hope now that it's warming up nicely, you can do a little bit more in the garage and maybe even introduce a little bit more of the scenic type thing as well as just track laying. So we'll see where that goes. On another note, before I forget, the subscriber special. It's not been forgotten at all. I did say that I was going to do the draw on the end of the month. Well, unfortunately, I'm actually away at the end of the month for a few days. So when I get back, I will film that and the result and upload it as soon as I can. It'll probably be about the first week or so of June. So a slight delay, apologies in advance, but it's not been forgotten and it will happen. So yeah, that's all done. So what else is happening? Well, I still haven't forgotten that Class 33 I want to weather, and it's still sitting there to one side waiting for the effects to be put on. I will get to film that as soon as I can. I haven't forgotten it. So in the meantime, and in conclusion, I'm going to do a little running session such as it is. It's not going to be a great one because all I can do is make them move up and down. There isn't a circuit yet. I'm not sort of rushing the layout. I'm considering each part as I go. So the more track is laid and wired up and made live, the better I can run a few trains. So I'm going to end with that. And yeah, if you've liked this video, please add comments, add your likes, and moreover, please subscribe. And on that note, thank you to all the new subscribers that have come on board since the last video. it's also so very welcome, and I thank you very much for following me and supporting the channel. And yeah, so if you do like it and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. It costs you nothing, and at the same time share the channel with other friends and let people know it's there. And I just enjoy adding content. So until the next time, happy modelling, happy train running, if that's the right term. Catch you all in the next one. Bye bye for now. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, please put them in the section below, especially those thoughts on the new layout of Sandling Junction. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and at the same time there are other videos to watch there and there. Take a look. Catch you all next time round. Thanks for watching.